Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming up next. Welcome to a video that's not just a casual watch, it's a journey into the depths of relationships, where every word is a gem of wisdom. Now I get it, there's that tempting urge to click away. But let me tell you, if you bail out now, you're about to miss out on something truly impactful. We're diving deep into the 7 attitudes of people who only use you and do not care about. And hey, it's not just about pointing out such people. We're handing you the keys to deal with these people. We've got precious tips that might just redefine how you navigate the dynamics of your connections. After watching, you might just find yourself equipped with a new perspective, ready to foster healthier connections. So stick around, absorb the wisdom we're about to drop, and who knows, by the end of this video, you might feel like a whole new person. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, because the journey doesn't end here. We're building a community that values growth and meaningful connections. Ready to embark on this journey? Let's dive in. Attitude 1. Excessive demands. When it's always about them. Let's kick things off with attitude number 1, the classic move of someone who's all about themselves. Excessive demands. We've all had that friend or partner who seems to have a never-ending list of requests, right? Suppose you're juggling your own life, dealing with work or school, maybe trying to catch a breath in your hectic schedule. But here comes Mr. or Ms. Demands a lot, asking for your time, your energy, your resources, as if your world revolves around their needs. Maybe it starts subtly, like asking for a small favor here and there. But as time goes on, those requests become more frequent and, let's be honest, increasingly unreasonable. Suddenly it feels like you're on call 24/7, ready to drop everything to attend to their demands. Now I get it. We all need help from time to time, and that's what friends are for. But when it becomes a pattern, when every interaction is about meeting their needs and your own priorities take a back seat, that's a red flag waving right in your face. Think about it. Healthy relationships involve a give and take, a mutual support system where both parties contribute and benefit. But when it's consistently a one-way street, where you're doing all the giving and they're doing all the taking, that's not friendship. That's a one-sided transaction. And let's talk about the impact, because it's not just about feeling a bit inconvenienced. It's about the toll it takes on your well-being. Constantly meeting someone else's demands can leave you physically and emotionally exhausted. It's like being stuck in a never-ending loop of catering to someone else's agenda, neglecting your own needs in the process. So, what do you do when faced with this attitude? First things first, recognize it. Take a step back and evaluate the dynamic of your relationship with this person. Are your interactions mostly centered around fulfilling their requests? If so, it might be time to set some boundaries. And boundaries, my friends, are your best friend in situations like these. Learn to say no when it's necessary. Your time and energy are valuable, and it's okay to prioritize your own needs. Communicate openly with the person, expressing how their demands are impacting you. A genuine friend will understand and adjust their expectations. Remember, it's not selfish to put your well-being first. Healthy relationships are built on a foundation of mutual respect and consideration. So let's navigate through this together. Stay tuned and subscribe to this channel for attitude number 2, lack of reciprocity. Attitude 2, lack of reciprocity. When it's a one-way street. We've just unpacked the world of excessive demands, and now, let's shine a light on attitude number 2, the lack of reciprocity. You know, when it feels like you're the one putting in all the effort, and the other person is just cruising along. Imagine this scenario. You're there for them, supporting their dreams, celebrating their victories, and lending a listening ear during tough times. But when it comes to your life, your achievements, or your struggles, it's crickets. It's like you're on this one-way street of giving, and they're happily cruising in the opposite direction, barely acknowledging your presence. Now, we're not talking about counting every favor and expecting a 50-50 split. Relationships are nuanced, and there will be times when one person needs more support than the other. But when it becomes a consistent pattern, where your efforts are met with indifference, or, worse, taken for granted, That's when you need to take notice. Reciprocity is the heartbeat of healthy relationships. It's the understanding that both parties contribute, support, and uplift each other. It's a beautiful dance of give and take, but when it's imbalanced, and you find yourself constantly giving without receiving, it can be emotionally draining. So, how do you navigate this tricky territory? First off, recognize the pattern, reflect on your interactions, and assess whether there's a genuine balance in the relationship. If it's consistently one-sided, it's time to have an open and honest conversation. Communication is key. Share your feelings with the person, expressing that you've noticed a lack of reciprocity and how it's affecting you. A true friend will appreciate your honesty and be willing to make an effort to create a more balanced dynamic. Now let's talk about some strategies to deal with individuals exhibiting this attitude. Set boundaries. Clearly define your limits and communicate them. Be assertive about what you need from the relationship. Reevaluate priorities. Assess whether the relationship is adding value to your life. If the lack of reciprocity is a persistent issue, consider whether this connection is worth maintaining. Diversify your connections. Don't put all your emotional eggs in one basket. Cultivate a network of friends and relationships where there's a healthy exchange of support. Lead by example. Sometimes, showing reciprocity can inspire the other person to reciprocate. Be the friend you wish to have, and it might influence them positively. Remember, it's okay to expect a fair exchange in your relationships. Healthy connections thrive on mutual support, and you deserve to be part of that reciprocal dance. Let's talk about the next attitude, emotional detachment. Attitude 3, emotional detachment, navigating the iceberg of unresponsiveness. Dear viewers, we've already delved into excessive demands and the lack of reciprocity. Now it's time to chip away at attitude number 3, emotional detachment. Picture this. You're sharing your joys, your sorrows, your deepest thoughts, and the response you get is as cold as ice. Emotional detachment is like navigating an iceberg. There's so much beneath the surface that you can't see. You may find yourself pouring your heart out, but the other person remains stoic, unresponsive, or dismissive of your emotions. It's not just about a lack of empathy. It's about feeling like you're talking to a wall instead of a friend. So, how do you identify emotional detachment? Pay attention to those moments when you share something personal or express your feelings. If the response is consistently indifferent, if they rarely engage emotionally, or worse, if they invalidate your emotions, you might be dealing with emotional detachment. Let's dive into why this attitude is so toxic. In healthy relationships, emotional connection is the glue that binds people together. It's the ability to share vulnerabilities, express joy, and seek comfort in one another. But when someone is emotionally detached, it creates a void, a lack of the emotional intimacy that makes relationships fulfilling. Now, it's important to note that emotional detachment isn't always intentional. Some people struggle with expressing their emotions, and it might be a defense mechanism. However, when it consistently impacts your connection, it's time to address it. So, how do you handle emotional detachment in a relationship? Let's break it down. Express your feelings. Start by sharing your feelings about the emotional disconnect. Be open and honest about how it makes you feel and the impact it has on the relationship. Encourage communication. Create a safe space for open dialogue. Encourage the other person to express their emotions and thoughts. Sometimes, they might not be aware of the impact of their emotional detachment. Evaluate the relationship. Assess whether the relationship is fulfilling your emotional needs. If the emotional detachment is causing significant distress, you may need to reconsider the dynamics of the connection. Remember, addressing emotional detachment requires sensitivity and understanding. It's about fostering an environment where both individuals feel comfortable sharing their emotions.
Now, for those of you wondering, how do I know if I'm emotionally detached? It's crucial to self-reflect. Are you actively engaging in emotional conversations? Are you receptive to others' feelings? If you recognize emotional detachment within yourself, take the initiative to work on expressing and connecting emotionally. In conclusion, emotional detachment is like a fog that obscures the beauty of genuine connection. It's okay to acknowledge it and work towards creating a warmer, more emotionally fulfilling relationship. Subscribe to this channel for our next attitude, conditional friendship. Attitude 4. Conditional friendship, more than just a fair-weather friend. As you know, we've talked about excessive demands, the lack of reciprocity, and emotional detachment. Now, let's dive into attitude number 4, conditional friendship. Brace yourselves because this one goes beyond the surface-level camaraderie we all crave. Suppose you have a friend who's all smiles and laughter when everything is going well in your life. Celebrations, achievements, good times, they're right there with you. But the moment life throws a curveball, suddenly they're MIA. It's as if their friendship comes with terms and conditions, and the conditions only apply when things are sunny. Conditional friendship is like having a fair-weather friend, someone who's there for the good times but conveniently disappears when the going gets tough. It's a relationship where their support is contingent on everything being hunky-dory. When the storm clouds gather, they're nowhere to be found. Now, don't get me wrong. True friendships aren't immune to challenges. Friends should be there for each other through thick and thin. Conditional friendships, on the other hand, create a sense of insecurity. You start questioning whether this person is genuinely invested in you or just hanging around for the highlight reel of your life. What makes this attitude toxic is the underlying lack of genuine care. Friendship is built on a foundation of mutual support, understanding, and being there for one another during both the highs and lows. But when you realize that the support is conditional, it shakes the very core of what friendship is supposed to be. So how do you recognize conditional friendship? Pay attention to the patterns. If someone consistently shows up only for the good times and is notably absent during challenges, it's a red flag. True friends stand by you when you need them the most, not just when life is a breeze. Dealing with conditional friendship requires a careful evaluation of the relationship dynamics. It's about understanding your own worth and recognizing when you deserve more than fair-weather companionship. A true friend is someone who sticks around not just when the sun is shining, but also when the rain is pouring. In your own life, reflect on the friendships that have weathered storms with you and those that seem to dissipate when the clouds gather. Surround yourself with people who value you unconditionally, who see you as more than a source of entertainment during the good times. Because, my friends, you deserve friendships that stand strong in the sunshine and endure through the storms. Do subscribe for our next attitude, manipulative behavior. Attitude 5. Manipulative behavior. Spotting the puppeteer in your relationships. We've uncovered excessive demands, the lack of reciprocity, emotional detachment, and conditional friendship. Now let's shine a light on attitude number 5, manipulative behavior. It's time to talk about those subtle strings that some individuals like to pull, turning relationships into puppet shows. Imagine this: you're going about your day, making decisions, and living your life. But there's this person in your circle who always seems to have an agenda. They're skilled at pulling the strings, subtly influencing your choices, decisions, and even emotions. It's like you're dancing to a tune you didn't choose, manipulated into playing a role in their script. Manipulative behavior comes in various forms: guilt-tripping, emotional blackmail, gaslighting, and it's designed to control and shape the narrative of the relationship. It's a toxic dynamic that erodes trust and leaves you questioning your own judgment. Now, how do you recognize manipulative behavior? Pay attention to those moments when you feel a sense of unease, guilt, or confusion after interacting with someone. If you find yourself second-guessing your choices because of their influence, it might be a sign of manipulation. What makes this attitude toxic is the erosion of your autonomy. Healthy relationships thrive on trust and open communication. When manipulation enters the picture, it introduces a power dynamic that can be detrimental to your well-being. Let's dive into a common form of manipulation: guilt tripping. Picture this scenario. You make a decision that aligns with your priorities and values, but this person makes you feel guilty for not aligning with theirs. Suddenly, you find yourself questioning whether you're being selfish or unreasonable. Manipulative individuals are skilled at exploiting your empathy and kindness. They might use emotional tactics to make you doubt yourself, creating a sense of obligation to meet their needs. It's like being caught in a web of emotional manipulation, where your genuine intentions are twisted to serve their agenda. Dealing with manipulative behavior requires a keen awareness of the tactics being employed. It's about recognizing when your emotions and decisions are being influenced by external forces. Taking a step back to assess the situation and trusting your instincts are crucial in breaking free from the puppeteer's hold. In your own life, reflect on your interactions with others. Have you ever felt coerced into making decisions that didn't align with your values? Do you find yourself constantly justifying your choices to someone who seems to have a vested interest in controlling the narrative? These could be signs of manipulation. Remember, healthy relationships are built on trust, respect, and the freedom to make choices that align with your values. Surround yourself with people who appreciate your autonomy and support you in being true to yourself. Please subscribe for our next attitude: disregard for your boundaries. We're peeling back the layers to help you navigate the complexities of toxic relationships. Attitude 6. Disregard for your boundaries, navigating the territory of personal space. We've covered 5 attitudes: excessive demands, lack of reciprocity, emotional detachment, conditional friendship, and manipulative behavior. Now let's dive into attitude number 6, disregard for your boundaries. We're stepping into the territory of personal space, where respecting limits becomes a crucial aspect of healthy relationships. Imagine this. You've set clear boundaries, the kind that define what you're comfortable with, what you need, and the space you require. But there's this person who consistently bulldozes through those boundaries without a second thought. It's like your personal space has a "do not enter" sign, but they're completely ignoring it. Disregard for your boundaries can manifest in various ways, from overstepping physical limits to dismissing your emotional needs. It's a toxic attitude that erodes the foundation of trust and respect in any relationship. How do you identify this attitude? Pay attention to those moments when you feel uncomfortable or violated. If someone consistently crosses the line you've drawn, whether it's in conversation, personal space, or your emotional well-being, it's a clear sign of disregard for your boundaries. Now, why is this attitude so toxic? Boundaries are the invisible lines that define the limits of a relationship. They're the checkpoints that ensure both parties feel safe, respected, and understood. When someone consistently ignores or disrespects your boundaries, it creates a breach of trust and a sense of vulnerability. Let's break it down further. Physical boundaries involve respecting personal space, not touching without permission, and acknowledging someone's comfort zones. Emotional boundaries revolve around respecting someone's feelings, not pressuring them to share more than they're comfortable with, and being mindful of their emotional well-being. Dealing with disregard for your boundaries requires assertiveness and communication. It's about making your limits clear and expressing the importance of respecting those limits. It might involve having difficult conversations and standing firm in upholding your boundaries. Now, here's a crucial point. It's not uncommon for individuals to test boundaries, especially early in a relationship. They might not be aware of the limits you've set. In such cases, communication becomes key. Express your boundaries calmly and assertively, giving them the opportunity to understand and adjust. But when the disregard for boundaries persists, it's time to reassess the relationship. True friends and genuine connections respect and value the limits set by the other person. If someone consistently disrespects your boundaries, it raises questions about the health of the relationship. In your own life, reflect on your interactions with others. Have you found yourself uncomfortable with someone's actions, words, or invasion of personal space? Are there consistent patterns of disregard for the limits you've set? These could be signs that it's time to address the issue. Remember, setting and enforcing boundaries is not only your right, but a crucial aspect of maintaining healthy relationships. Surround yourself with individuals who respect your limits, understand your needs, and contribute to a space where everyone feels safe and valued. Stay tuned and like this video for our next attitude, lack of empathy. Stay tuned and like this video for our next attitude, lack of empathy. Attitude 7, lack of empathy, bridging the gap in emotional connection. Now, let's dive into the final piece of the puzzle. Attitude 7, lack of empathy. We're stepping into the realm where emotional connection and understanding take center stage. Imagine this. You're going through a tough time, grappling with challenges, and you turn to someone you consider a friend. But instead of empathy, you're met with indifference, dismissiveness, or a complete lack of understanding. It's like you're standing on one side of an emotional canyon, and they're on the other, unable or unwilling to bridge the gap. Lack of empathy is more than just a lack of understanding. It's a deficiency in recognizing and resonating with the emotions of others. It's an attitude that can leave you feeling isolated, unseen, and emotionally neglected in a relationship. How do you identify a lack of empathy? Pay attention to those moments when you share your feelings, and the response is detached or invalidating. If someone consistently fails to acknowledge or understand your emotions, it's a red flag of a lack of empathy. Now let's delve into why this attitude is so toxic. Empathy is the glue that binds healthy relationships. It's the ability to put ourselves in someone else's shoes, to understand their feelings, and to provide support when needed. When empathy is lacking, it creates a void, a sense that your emotions are not valued or understood. Consider this. You're excited about an accomplishment, and instead of sharing in your joy, the other person brushes it off. Or you're going through a difficult time, and rather than offering support, they minimize your feelings. Lack of empathy can leave you feeling emotionally stranded, like you're navigating life's highs and lows alone. Dealing with lack of empathy requires a twofold approach: understanding and communication. It's about recognizing whether the person lacks empathy unintentionally or if it's a consistent pattern in their behavior. Firstly, consider whether the lack of empathy is a result of the person's own emotional struggles or difficulties in expressing emotions. In some cases, individuals might not be aware of the impact of their words or actions. In such situations, gentle communication can be a powerful tool. Secondly, if lack of empathy is a consistent pattern, it might be indicative of a deeper issue within the relationship. Communicate openly with the person, expressing how their lack of empathy affects you and the relationship. It's an opportunity for them to reflect on their behavior and make necessary adjustments. In your own life, reflect on your interactions with others. Have you felt emotionally supported in times of need? Are there consistent patterns of a lack of empathy, where your feelings are dismissed or minimized? These could be signs that it's time to address the issue and work towards building a more empathetic connection. Remember, empathy is the bridge that connects us emotionally. Surround yourself with individuals who understand the value of emotional connection and who are willing to walk that bridge with you. Healthy relationships thrive on mutual understanding, support, and the acknowledgement of each other's feelings. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the attitudes of toxic relationships. We've covered a lot, and I hope these insights help you navigate the complexities of your own connections. Until next time, cultivate empathy, bridge those emotional gaps, and foster relationships that uplift and support. If these discussions resonate with you, if you've found value in understanding the complexities of relationships, and if you're eager to foster healthier connections in your life, then hit that subscribe button. Join our community of empathetic and supportive individuals who believe in the power of genuine connections. By subscribing, you're not just becoming a part of our channel. You're contributing to a space where we share insights, experiences, and conversations that matter. Together, we're navigating the intricate landscape of relationships, supporting one another, and building a community that values authenticity and growth. So, don't miss out on future discussions, insights, and a bit of humor along the way. Hit subscribe, ring that notification bell, and let's continue this journey together. Thank you for being here, and I can't wait to welcome you as part of our Stoicism Explainer family. Until next time, take care, and here's to fostering meaningful connections in your life.